welcome to Bowties Sometimes Cool with myself, Ashley, and Ed. Good evening, Ed.
Good evening, Ash. How's things this evening?
Very good. It's nice and sunny, and it's Good Friday when we're recording this, and it has been a good Friday. Done all sorts today. Bit tired though, but I say that every week. I like sleeping. It's like dying, but without the commitment. So anyway, what can I say? Tonight we're going to be talking about the 1987 classic Delta and the Bannermen. Now, if you don't know, that's Doctor Who. But you should do, otherwise, why are you listening to our podcast? So, yes, I've watched it today, Ed. I think you've watched it today.
I've watched it.
You've watched the posh version though, because you've got the Blu-ray with all the extras, and I just happen to have it on my USB. But anyway, so that, as such, you could probably talk a bit more tonight. But this one, I do love this one. That's a surprise because it's a Sylvester McCoy one. The others I will be a bit more critical of, but anything that's got Sylvester McCoy in, I am pretty much likely to say 100%. I love it. Yay. And I really like this one because it's based on Earth in Shangri-La. It's a shame they didn't go to Disneyland. I wonder if the BBC budget couldn't stretch to that, so they thought, "Oh, we'll knock the bus off course." So I tell you what, for anyone who hasn't seen it, let's just give you a storyline. The Bannermen have successfully wiped out all but the last shimmering Delta, the Queen, no less. She escapes with an egg and boards the intergalactic bus to Navarino, is it?
Navarino, yeah.
Yeah, headed for 1959 Earth to visit Disneyland. However, it gets knocked off course and ends up in Wales.
You are the last survivor, but not for long. Get away! Take this with you!
I've been through that thing 100 times and I still don't like it. Oh, welcome aboard. I'm Murray.
I'm Mel, and this is the Doctor.
Oh, that's great. Knowing nostalgia trips remain needed, Doctor. Come on, folks, all aboard.
Mel, you go ahead on the bus. I'll follow on in the TARDIS.
Thanks.
So there we are. So thoughts on this one, Ed? Go on. You start. Okay. I'll come back in about 10 minutes.
So, I love Sylvester McCoy. He sort of vies for the top spot of favourite Doctor with Peter Davison. I can never decide which is my favourite, but McCoy's first season is not my favourite. Time with the Rani, I think it's possibly the worst Doctor Who serial of the classic series. Paradise Towers, I think, is a really, really good story, but appallingly executed. And McCoy hasn't really found his feet as a Doctor yet. But it's Delta and the Bannermen, really. That is the highlight of season 24. This is the one where McCoy really, really stamps his mark on the Doctor and how he's going to portray, with sort of foreshadowings of how he's going to become much more darker in the oncoming storm later on.
For a tropical place, the greenery's a bit odd. I thought they'd have wider leaf trees. Never mind.
So this is the first for Doctor Who, anyway, to come here?
It is, I think, yes.
It's a first for you as well. How difficult will it be for you as an actor to portray this character, Doctor Who?
I don't know. I'm enjoying playing it, and so far I haven't been sacked. So I think it seems to be going all right.
Like you said, set in Wales, which is always good. Actually filmed in Barry Island, I think it's the Butlins in Barry Island. Yeah, you're right, Navarinos, and I don't know if you know for your Eagle Moss collection, but there is an Eagle Moss Navarino figure available.
Yes, I've seen it, yeah.
For your Sylvester McCoy collection. Yeah, Bonnie Langford in it, but Bonnie Langford, I think, in this one is almost sidelined for the nearly companion, Ray, played by Sarah Griffiths. It's one of those little factoids that they knew that Bonnie Langford was leaving at the end of the season, and the smart money was on the fact that Sarah Griffiths was going to replace Bonnie Langford as Ray, but eventually they went with Sophie Aldred as Ace. So I'm sure there's a parallel universe somewhere, or Big Finish are going to do an Unbound series somewhere where sort of that Mel stays in Shangri-La at the end of the story, and then Ray goes off in the TARDIS, and perhaps all the Ace things like the Fenric story happens to Ray. Who knows how that would have worked out?
Yeah, I like the character Ray. I do like. I've said that I just love Sophie Aldred. So sorry. I'm quite pleased with how it all panned out. But it is her Welsh accent was great.
Hi, Billy. Please call me Ray. Oh, do you guys want a hand?
Do you always carry around a full set of tools with you?
Oh, it's what Billy taught me. Always to be prepared.
A stitch in time fills up space.
No, I'm being a bit facetious there. Actually, to be fair though, it wasn't too bad. I mean, for somebody who watches it, it ticks all the stereotype Welsh boxes, I suppose. Yeah. So going back to the story. So Delta lands. She has a baby in a ball, which starts off looking actually, quite alien-like. Then turns into a kid in a grow suit. What baby suit? What do you call?
Baby grow. Yes.
Green baby grow. That's the one. Sorry. Then before you know it, she's like 7, 8, 9 or whatever. In the meantime, though, Billy, who's met her and only probably known her for less than 24 hours, decides, do you know what? I'm going to turn myself into one of them and then go off with him. So for Billy, it was clearly love at first sight, because I don't think they could have even had probably about 10 or so hours together before he decided, I'm going to start taking some of this stuff to turn myself into a Shimmeron.
And poor Ray, who's obviously been madly in love with him since she's a little girl, just gets left behind, but she gets the motorbike, so that's pretty good.
The Vincents, don't forget to feather the clutch.
The Vincents, feather the clutch. But no, I mean, this one, I think it's the best of season 24 by a country mile. I like that it's on location. I like the music. Again, I say about McCoy's performance. It's McCoy for me up to that point was, he's all right, he's okay. And then suddenly there's that bit at the end of episode 2 when he confronts Gavrock and he goes full on oncoming storm. You would not mess with this man. This is a man that has been there since the beginning of the universe and basically batted away people like you without even trying.
How dare you! The white flag is the accepted signal for truce throughout the civilized universe. You may think that might is right, but I can assure you, you won't get away with it. Life? What do you know about life, Gavrock? You deal in death. Lies, treachery, murder are your currency. You promise life, but in the end, it will be life which defeats you. I came here under a white flag, and I will leave under that same white flag. And woe betide any man who breaches its integrity. Now step aside. Release those prisoners. Gavrock, it's over. You're finished, and we're leaving.
Actually, I think I may have gone a little too far.
And, Don Henderson as well is quite a believable, frightening villain as Gavrock, because he just casually sort of blows up a bus full of tourists, just kills them just because to get at the Shimmeron Queen. So I think even though the sort of the feeling of season 24 is a little bit more lighthearted and camp, I think, this one, again, the villain's quite hard hitting in it. He committed genocide, casually killing off tourists, eating that raw hunk of meat, and the Doctor basically trying to take him down with words. And then the Doctor realizes, actually, I may have gone a bit too far. This man means business. So you've got that sort of side to it, but you've also still got the sort of quite light-hearted side with the Navarinos and Ken Dodd as a guest star.
It got some quite good. I mean, I like the cliffhangers as well. Episode 1. There is a good cliffhanger, and so is episode 2. Yeah, episode 2's
fantastic. It is genuinely fantastic cliffhanger.
I may have gone a little too far.
Yeah. Almost barely restrained contempt and anger, whereas before he's been sort of doing pratfalls and being quite comedic and, getting his metaphors wrong and, time and tide melt the snowman and things like that. And suddenly that all falls away and you see the oncoming storm that he's about to become just wham. It's a brilliant moment.
I'm just looking at some facts here. Sophie Aldred auditioned for Ray. Well, we kind of know that, I think, anyway. We've alluded to it in a way. Ken Dodd was third choice for Tollmaster. That is a fantastic fact and rubbish at the same time because it doesn't tell me who the first two are. Unless you know, Ed, you know?
I don't. No, I don't. My fact I know about it is the original working title for it was Flight of the Shimmerin.
Ah, okay, cool. Oh,
sorry, you go on.
No, I was just looking. So we got actually Nicholas Parsons was maybe considered for the role of the Tollmaster.
Okay,
that's one. Let's see if we can find another one. And Joe Don Baker was in the running to play Weissmuller. Can you imagine?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, who was playing the part by Stubby Kaye, who at the time was quite a well-known American comedian and comic actor.
Yeah. So let's have a look at this short list for Gavrock. Michael Elphick.
I can see that similar, yeah. Definitely.
Nicholas Ball, David Warner, Simon Ward.
Oh, yeah.
Ronald Lacey, Jeremy Kemp, yeah. Clifford Rose, Kenneth Colley. Is that Colley? Yeah. And Peter Vaughan. I kind of know about half of them. I'm sure if I clicked on these, I'd probably be like, oh, yeah, that's them.
But who they were.
Yeah,
and they're all sort of actors. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, absolutely, they'd have played it in a similar sort of way to the way the late Don Henderson played it. I actually met Don Henderson once. I just happened to. He was at a Doctor Who convention. He was having his breakfast. So I thought I better not disturb him. Morning, Mr. Henderson. Morning, lad. How are you doing? Not bad. And I think he was quite poorly at the time. He was very, very frail and thin looking. He looked quite like a tough guy in Delta. This was about 8 or 9 years later. But yeah, he seemed very, 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 very pleasant. Yeah. Another character I like to talk about, and I'm quite fascinated by him, is Old Gronwy, played by Hugh Lloyd.
Oh, God. Yeah, go on then, Ned. I know.
Yeah. You're probably going to guess where I'm coming from here. Now, when they're escaping, the Doctor, Delta, Ray, the little Billy, the little girl, are escaping. They stop in the lane, and he says something. There's nothing down there. And Billy says, only Old Gronwy. And the Doctor says, does he keep bees? And I think in my head canon is Gronwy's a retired Time Lord who's retired to Earth to keep bees, and his house is his TARDIS. And the Doctor and him sort of know each other, because right at the very, very end, of the very last scene where the TARDIS dematerializes, you see Gronwy look into the sky and he sort of winks.
But we eat together. Over there is the dining hall.
We did it. We actually did it, Hawk.
Have you got any questions? Come on, isn't it?
Well, you know what? I've never really noticed that. We'll have a look at that one. Yeah, cool.
He's got a sort of unearthly wisdom to him the way he speaks. He's not quite human. He's sort of a little bit more wise than he's letting on.
Yeah. And he's not at all fazed by the fact that all these people are going to come around.
No. And when he's talking to the American agents are talking about, we've seen any weird lights in the sky, he goes, well, I've seen plenty of things in the sky, but nothing you describe as weird. And he starts describing lights he's seen, and it's an odd way to talk for a man of his time.
Yeah, well, you could be on something.
No.
Could be on something there. If
any of our listeners have anything to say on that, please let us know, because I'd be interested to know other fans' thoughts on Old Gronwy in Delta and the Bannermen. That's obscure.
At the end of the episode, he smiles because he knows what's going on, because he knows of different worlds and different atmospheres, and nothing surprises him. Laid back, he smiles.
This is the Queen's hive.
I think that Gronwy was slightly Time Lordish, because anyone that is connected with strange things like bees or insects or animals realises there's different worlds and there's different ways of living and different ways of existing. And I think that's why Gronwy had a bit of the magic about him.
Favourite scenes, Ed. So definitely that one with the end of episode 2, cliffhanger.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, favourite scenes for me, you've got that one at the end of episode 2, absolutely, definitely. You've got the scene, again, the cliffhanger to episode 1, where the chap who used to be the Flying Pickets is going to kill the Doctor and Ray.
Yeah.
And you've got really quite lovely scene at the end. Again, Sylvester bringing stuff into the Doctor we'd never really seen before. Got that sort of almost like wistful, melancholy, universe-weary traveller sort of right at the very end where Billy's ready to go with Delta and he's holding the guitar. And he just had that talk about love with him, which the Doctor who had never strayed into the romantic before. And this is possibly the first, I would say, full-on romantic Doctor Who story.
I know without a male the race will be wiped out. But I haven't seen many examples of species crossing that could be the most dreadful mutation.
It's our only chance, Doctor.
I can't condone this foolishness. And then, love has never been known for its rationality.
What else should we talk about, Ed?
I tell you what, I am surprised at. I don't. Again, it's probably a rights issue at the time that they didn't set it at Maplin's holiday camp because Heidi High was in full swing. Would have been a brilliant crossover.
Yeah, can you imagine Ruth Maddox in up in that?
Definitely, Ruth Maddox as you wouldn't need the whole cast, but you'd have Ruth Maddox and either Simon Cadell or David, whatever he was that took over from Simon Cadell there. But that would have been really, really funny.
Sorry, Cutters. What's inside you would kill everyone except the young princess. I will deal with her personally. Ah! They've spotted us, Billy! Run! Forward!
Hello, campers. Heidi Hi! Welcome to another day, chock full of fun, laughter, and carefree wheezes at sunny Marplins. Before I give you the list of today's events, here is an apology. We regret the soggy cornflakes. This happened because we were trying out a new brand called Frosty Floppy Flakes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear.
I think I'm going to do that.
That was one I always thought at the time that would have been fantastic crossover, but I suppose it would have been a step too far into camp and breaking the fourth wall, wouldn't it?
Possibly. Oh, one fact whilst in my head, because it's probably about the only fact I've got that is, I always think, oh, that's a good fact. Burton's dog was John Nathan.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I know, I did not know that at all. And Burton, again, great Welsh actor, Richard Davis, speaks a lot of Welsh in it with Ray, which always goes down well with me.
Well, absolutely. Hey, and did you know, I've probably sent it to you before, and I'll probably put the link in the description of this video, that there's a whole after party, a rap party on YouTube as well, where they did of Bannermen. Yeah, the rap party at the end. It's actually it's on YouTube. I'll put it in the link. I'll put a link in the description. And so that's quite interesting. All the cast there, quite relaxed and singing and stuff like that. Yeah. But there's not much else to say about this in terms of facts. There's not very much about it. But anything that you picked up from the commentary, Ed?
Not really. It's just the cast and crew that were watching it said that, the opening's really, really powerful, really, really good, powerful for its time with BBC visual effects with the pitch battle going on. Shot on location. So things shot on location, I think, it always look better than things shot in the studio because trying to recreate all that in the studio you end up with how Paradise Towers looked, unfortunately. But this looked great because it was on location. It's got a bit of a sense of scale to it. No, I think by far and away the very, very best story for me of season 24. I wouldn't say it's quite up there with Sylvester's greats, but it's far, far better than a lot that came out in the late 70s, mid 70s to mid 80s. It's up there. It's up there with them. Absolutely, definitely. It's a strong sort of 7.5 out of 10 for me because there are some brilliant scenes in it. There's some naffness in it which still makes you cringe, but I think the good way outweighs the bad in this one. But no, it's one of those ones I can remember watching it. I remember watching it was on, and I was thinking back today, oh my lord, that's, what is it, 36 years ago, and I remember watching it on TV like it was yesterday.
On that bombshell, it's goodbye from Bow Ties Are Sometimes Cool. Goodbye from me, Ashley. Ed, look after the Vincent.
I'll remember to feather the clutch.